welcome to Inkquiring Minds. My name is Doug and I'm back with another fountain pen review. One nice thing about having a subscriber base of fountain pen fans is having those 18,000 pairs of ears peeled and eyes to the ground sniffing out new pen models and bargains. Thanks to an inquiring mind out there in YouTube land, this new model from Asvine, the J16 in titanium, was brought to my attention. I immediately contacted my Asvine guru, Sally, who runs the Etsy shop Easy Buy and the Asvine store on Amazon. She made me a deal on this gorgeous pen. I didn't know whether I'd like a big metal pen like this or not, so let's take a look and find out right now. And here's another package from China. Yesterday I got this V60 from Majon, and it's already frustrating me, this pen. Let's see what we have today. I think I know by process of elimination what this is. Looks like an Asvine to me. And a box inside there. Yes, it's an Asvine, but what Asvine is it? Does it say on the box? It does not. And we got another wrench. I've got many of these now. Fountain pen instruction manual. And it's all in English too. Well done, Asvine. And here's the pen. Please check note for using the fountain pen on the back. Never clean your pen with alcohol. These are all good notes. Fill your pen with non-carbon bottled ink. Carbon bottled ink, like waterproof ink, will clog the fountain pen easily. This is true. Vacuum filling pens, screw the blind cap all the way down when you are writing. Screw the blind cap all the way when you are writing. Piston filling pen. When the piston does not move, it means that it's reached the end. Twisting the knob forcibly will damage the piston system. All good information. And let's take a look at this pen. This is the titanium Asvine J16. There it says on the back. J16. Asvine. This is still cold. Titanium. It's a fairly hefty pen. And it unscrews. It does. With only a couple of turns, too. One turn. Ink window. Titanium section. Unmarked Yovo nib. It's a piston filler, and it looks like a beauty. But let's take a look. Yep, we should be able to take it apart with this provided wrench, and we'll see which part attaches to it. And there it is. So screw that down on top. Lefty, yep, lefty loosey, reverse thread. And there's the Asvine piston. Excellent. Very, very well engineered. I can tell already. Tighten it down. Close the piston. Now the next question we have to ask is whether that nib comes out of there. Let's hope it does. Yeah. The whole nib unit unscrews. And there we are. And this one has a marking on the side. And this is a broad nib. So that's the other really cool thing about this, is that they're offering Western nibs at varying sizes. And the first opportunity I had to order one with a broad nib, well, I'm going to pounce on that. Because even if I don't like how broad it is, I have a pen guru named Jack Hernandez who can take a broad nib like that and cut it into an architect for me. But this looks very, very interesting. But there we have it, the Asvine J16 titanium piston filler with a Yovo broad nib. Can't wait to ink this up and give it a try. I'll show the parts and features of this pen, show some size comparisons and measurements, and then provide a writing sample. After the writing sample, I'll talk about what I like and what I don't like so much about this fountain pen. Overall, the pen is a good size, cigar-shaped pen. It's slightly bigger than the Montblanc 146 Legrand, but smaller than a Montblanc 149. And it is, of course, much heavier than the Legrand at 46 grams, but the whole pen is really nicely balanced. The cap, the barrel, and the section all have a brushed titanium finish with a micro texture on it. It's very smooth, but not slippery at all. I get up close, you can't see on camera that micro texture, but you can hear it if I rub it against this cloth. I'll rub it against my microphone. Pardon me for rubbing, but maybe you can hear that.
You know, this is called in the East.
What?
It's a big rub.
And even under my loupe, I can barely see that micro texture. This is like a Mont Blanc 146 Legrand on steroids. And of course, it's a piston filler. From the top, we see the cigar-shaped top finial, which is separated from the cap by the clip ring and attached clip. The clip is chromed metal and almost identical to the Mont Blanc 146 clip, and it's nicely springy and usable. The cap tapers up to a large chromed metal cap band that has Asvine on the front and the model name J16 stamped into the back. There's a small step down to the barrel, which tapers down to a chromed metal ring, which separates the barrel from the titanium piston knob. The cap unscrews with one rotation to reveal the titanium section, which tapers slightly to a small flare, and then the number 6 size steel JOVO broad nib. There are no markings on the nib other than the B on the side. This is a stock JOVO broad nib and plastic feed. The JOVO nib unit unscrews for maintenance and or swapping. The section is almost identical to the Mont Blanc 146 and is very comfortable and not slippery at all because of those micro grooves. Below the section is a nice large clear ink window, and those cap threads there are not sharp at all. The inside of the cap shows a black plastic cap liner that incorporates the cap threads, as well as a small step that meets up with the top of the section to seal the nib from evaporation. The cap posts deeply and securely, and because of that, plastic cap liner will not mar the titanium metal barrel. It makes the pen a little too long and back-weighted for me, but unposted, the pen is very comfortable in the hand and well balanced. As you saw in the unboxing, the pen comes with its own piston wrench for easy removal of the piston assembly for maintenance and cleaning. And because of the slightly larger size of the barrel compared to a Mont Blanc Legrand, the Asvine J16 has a larger ink capacity of 1.76 milliliters compared to the Legrand's 1.4 milliliters of ink. I only seem to be able to see the Asvine J16 for sale on Amazon, where it sells for about $68 US from the Asvine shop. It's available in this brushed titanium or a polished finish version, and has 4 nib options: EF, F, M, and broad. I assume they're all JOVO nibs. Now let's take a look at some size comparisons. Here is the Asvine J16 titanium piston filler with a Moonman P136 piston filler, a Wingsung 630 piston filler, an Admach M800 piston filler, and a Wingsung 601 vacuumatic in stainless steel. Now let's look at them posted. And here they are posted. The Moonman P136 looks like it posts very nicely, but it's not very secure on there. And this is much closer to the Legrand 146 Mont Blanc than the Asvine is. The Wingsung 630 here is identical in size and shape to the Mont Blanc 149, up to and including the number 8 size gold nib. This is a 14 karat gold nib, and it is just amazing. This is one of the finest fountain pens in my collection, and I've done a blind test comparing a Mont Blanc 149 to this Wingsung 630, and in feel and touch and writing, you can't tell the difference between the two. At least I can't. You can see that video comparison by clicking right up here. This is the Admach M800 copy clone of the Pelican M800, and it has a number 6 size steel Bach nib, which is really, really nice. And of course the Wingsung 601 vacuumatic, when you buy them, they come with a plastic section. I've upgraded that to a stainless steel section, and I've replaced the original nib, which was awful on the Wingsung, with a Bobby bent nib. And so this pen writes beautifully, and it has been an everyday carry for me for years since I got it. Now let's look at them unposted. And here they are unposted. And all 5 of these pens take a lot of ink. That vacuumatic filler, that takes about 1.3 milliliters of ink, something like that, in that vacuumatic pump. And this is about 1.5 milliliters. This is about 1.8. This is about 1.3, 1.4, I'm going to guess, and this is 1.47, almost 1.5 milliliters of ink. Now I'll show you some measurements, and I'll be back with a writing sample. And we're back with the writing portion of the review. This is Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper, and this is the Asvine J16. And it has a number 6 size steel Yovo broad nib. Let's check the wetness. Well, it's really nice and wet and juicy and ultra smooth. Almost no feedback on this nib at all. Reminds me of a Pilot medium nib or a Pilot broad nib. Very, very, very smooth on the page. No noise at all. And the ink is the Pelikan Ink of the Year for 2024. Pelikan Edelstein Golden Lapis. I've got 2 bottles of this ink. I feel like I have to use it up, but unlike many of the Pelikan inks of the year, this one is eminently usable. Watch as that dries. Maybe you can see this. Maybe, oh yeah, I don't have to move the page. Look at that. You can see at that angle all the gold shimmer on that. And then, perhaps let's focus in a little bit closer. And you can see that it goes azure blue and then to dark blue in shading. It's just lovely. It has so much variation to it. So you have the golden shimmer and the shading from azure blue to deep blue. And I'm finding that the particulate is small enough that it doesn't clog any of the pens that I've used it in. And I've used it in my Pilot E95S as well, which has a fairly narrow nib and feed system. I just love this ink. As to line variation, you can push it a little bit, so there's a little bit of a bounce to this. It's already very broad, but it's got a nice bounce. Let's close up on that so you can see that bounce. Very, very nice. And the line this nib makes is a 0.8 millimeter, which makes it a Western broad. No surprise there. Or a Japanese double broad plus. And for our quote. And for some reverse writing, well, it's got a bit of a scratch to it. I suppose you could polish that out, but it's a lot thinner and a lot drier. And for some quick writing, no issues whatsoever. One of the things about a broad nib that you worry about is with that increased flow, will the feed keep up? And it's certainly keeping up. So what do I like and what do I not like about this fountain pen? I think this is definitely a candidate for fountain pen of the year 2024. I really didn't expect to like this pen much when I saw the pictures. Usually metal pens of this size are awkward and unwieldy. And when Moonman Madjon copies a classic pen, they slavishly copy every detail with no thought to adjustments or creative changes to make it their own creation. Sometimes this is good, like on the Moonman M800 copy of the Leonardo Momento Zero. It's an excellent, excellent pen. But sometimes that slavish copying mentality creates a piece of crap, like this Madjon V60. But more about this POS next week.
Get out!
I've certainly seen both ends of the scale this week. But Asvine seems to be creating models that recreate the essence of a classic pen, but add some modern features or make some shape or size changes. I know that Montblanc had a limited 146 Legrand model in stainless steel, but it had a black plastic section. and this Asvine J16 may have the classic cigar shape of the Mont Blanc 146, but so do thousands of other fountain pens from brands like Pilot and Sailor, to mention just a couple. This Asvine J16 has a size that sits between the huge Mont Blanc 149, represented here by my Wing Sung 630, and the slimmer, sleeker Mont Blanc 146, represented here by the Moonman P136. So it sort of sits between these two pens in size. And for my hand, that's a sweet spot. The Legrand seemed just slightly small, and the 149 just slightly too big. But this one's just right.
My soup's too hot. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed.
And I'm really happy they made it in titanium. Even with the titanium, this pen is a hefty 46 grams, but imagine what it would weigh if it were stainless steel. The density of titanium is 4.51 grams per cubic centimeter, whereas the density of stainless steel is 7.9 grams per cubic centimeter. So this pen would probably weigh closer to 60 grams if it was made from stainless steel. When I showed this pen on my live stream last week, I was asked whether I'd be interested in anodizing this surface into multicolors like I've done before. I've decided the pen is too beautiful in its monotone beauty to disturb. But the absolute best part of this pen is the nib. This is the first Chinese-made pen I've ever bought that came with a broad nib. And this Jowo nib is absolutely sublime. And it's so smooth and juicy, I just can't stop writing with it. Each time I touch the nib to the page, I marvel at the really, really smooth feel, glassy feel on that paper. Because it's so broad and juicy, it shows off the awesome character of this Pelikan Golden Lapis ink without ever clogging it up. As Chinese pens go, this isn't inexpensive at $68 US, but considering it comes with a German steel nib and is made of titanium, I consider the price more than reasonable. Replacement Jowo number 6 size steel nibs are between $16 and $18 US. This will be a contender for the fountain pen of the year in my coming best of the year video this December. And there you have it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell to get instant notifications whenever a new video is posted. And you can join as a member of my channel for only 99 cents a month, and I guarantee I'll answer your comments in the comment section, and you'll get cool emojis, badges, sneak peek unboxing videos, as well as instant access to videos the moment I post them. And that just leaves it for me to say thank you for watching. And that's all she wrote.
I made this.